Well, welcome to Thorney Weir. Not somewhere I've ever fished before, and yeah, I haven't done a carp flog in a long time. Normally, because they don't get that many views, you know, put a barbel flog on, range from 2,000 to 5,000 views. Put a carp flog on, a couple of hundred views, unless it's a French trip, and then they eventually get up to a couple of thousand. But nonetheless, come to Thorney Weir with my son. He's in the next swim up from me. We'll do 48 hours on here, see if we can get one of the fish out of here. It's, I mean, if you know Thorney Weir, you know how good the fish are in here. Some really nice fish to be caught from here. But we come here blind. We don't know anything about the lake. We got here for 7 o'clock, which is when they open the gates. A few anglers on fishing. But we walked around, and the 2 swims we've ended up in is the only swims where we saw fish showing. But we did walk the whole lake, and since then I've spoken to the chap who's down from me, and he's had 2. 31 was his best. Can't remember what his other one was, but he's lost 3 as well. So, and he's been here, he's into his 3rd day now. Another chap packed up and was walking past us. He didn't have anything last night, but he said his mate had a 28. So the odd fish is feeding. As I say, there were fish out in front of us when I first got here, or when we first got here, in front of both these swims. So hence why we've dropped in them. But yeah, bait wise, it's, I mean, I found there's a little silty channel out there, only 60 yards out, and I'm baiting that quite heavily, albeit there's all coots over the spot at the moment. But yeah, I'm doing that. I've got a bucket of party blend and also some sweet corn in there and boilies, and I've probably put about 1/3 of a bucket out on that little channel out there. And then I'm fishing 1 yellow pop-up just off the bottom, and a snowman, what have I got on there? I think I've got, at the moment, Icelandic red snowman. And then my left-hand rod, I'm going to keep the baiting down to a minimum with just boilies. I'm just fishing off the edge of a tree. It's a little underarm flick out for me. I've got 4 foot of water there, and again it's crystal clear, and then if you pull back you'll come into some horrible black sludge and a bit of weed. So I had a couple of flicks with the pronged lead first, and then put the marker out just to check the depth. And yeah, I'm happy to fish on that spot for the certainly for 24 hours and see what happens. There has been 1 fish up on the surface, just 2 rod lengths out in front of me, probably an hour ago. And what's Michael doing? At the moment he's got 1 in the margins. I think he said he got 1 at 80 yards, and I can't remember what his 3rd rod's doing. So yeah, we're sort of covering some different areas between us. And hopefully in the next 48 hours, one of us, well, it'd be really nice if both of us can get a fish. But for now, you know, we're hoping for 1 fish. If we can get a fish, that will be good. But hopefully we can do better than 1. We may, you know, it may be we end up moving pegs or swims. it just depends. If we see fish and we're catching fish, then obviously we'll stay on it. If we see fish showing elsewhere and there's nobody in those swims, then we can move on to those. Like I say, a few people have now gone since this morning when we walked along the furthest bank. Most of the swims were taken, but most of those people appear to have gone now. So yeah, we've got options open to us, and yeah, I'll update the vlog as we go along, hopefully with some fish. So, see you then. Okay, welcome back. So yeah, just heading into the evening now. It's 7:30. Yeah, 7:30. So rods are out. Just put a bit more bait on those spots. Kept the 2 rods out on the 60-yard range in that gully. Been picked up a few times by birds because it's only 5 foot deep. Put the baits in, they're still both good. So yeah, one's on a, as I said earlier, snowman blowback rig. One's on a little pop-up, and just kept this rod close in, the underarm flick, although there's a coot over the top of it now. Hopefully they won't go down on the bait, so I've just trickled in a couple of handfuls of boiling, not even a couple of handfuls, probably, I don't know, 10, 15 baits there. The idea being that hopefully the fish come along these margins, and they're used to picking up the odd free bait, but not having piles of it down there. If they see piles down there, they may spook off. So yeah, hopefully we can get a take off there. Michael's got his rods out, he's same spots he was on. Just had a chat to a chap in a swim down from me. He came up when I was eating my dinner, just said if he gets one in the night, would I mind going and taking photos for him, which is fine, I'll do that. But nothing's happened all day. We've not seen a fish out all day, not heard a buzzer, not seen anyone head with their rods. There's a few more people on now, so we'll see what happens, see how the night goes, and hopefully we can winkle a fish out. I mean, I think my biggest issue is this right hand margin is overhung the tree and it's down into the water, so if I do get a take, really I need to do all this fighting out in the water, not in the margins here, because I could well lose the fish there. It's a tricky little swim, but we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed initially for a take. If we get a take, then we'll worry about how we're going to get it in. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some night footage on here or an early morning footage. So see you then. Well, good morning, and yeah, welcome back. It's God, what's the time? It's only about 6 o'clock now. Yeah, 6 o'clock. What can I say about the night? It's no fish were showing all night, so or not all night. Before we went to bed, I was sat with Michael, I think till about 9 o'clock, and we were a bit concerned. Nothing was rolling, nothing was showing. So that's not normally a good sign for the night. But nonetheless, anyway, came back to my swim. I listened to a book for about an hour, watching the water, and nothing was showing. So yeah, I had an early night knowing I'd be up early anyway, or hopefully be up in the night with some fish. But yeah, about 3 o'clock this morning I had a screamer on my left hand rod, and that was the near in rod, that was the coots picking it up. So yeah, that could have done without that, but hey, that's life. So put that back on its spot, got back into my bed, and then yeah, 4 o'clock, well, just before 4, I thought I heard Michael's buzzer, or a fox buzzer anyway, but then I didn't hear any more noise, so went back to sleep. And then I think it was about 4:15 actually, Michael came around and oh Dad, can you come and take some photos? I've got 2. Yeah. What had happened on his long rod, which I think is fishing about 80 yards to weed, he'd had a take on that, and that was a 28 pound 4 common, I think that was. Yeah. And what did he do? Oh yeah, so he had it in the net, quickly got the rod back out on the spot again. Then whilst he was weighing the fish, the same rod went again. So he quickly put the fish in the retainer in the edge, played that fish in, and that was a 29.8 mirror. So in a space of like 20-30 minutes, he'd had 2 upper 20s. So he's very happy with that. And yeah, he's put the rods back on the spot, spotted out a bit more bait on it. And yeah, I didn't really go to bed after that. I've stood out watching the water, made a cup of coffee, watched the water for a bit. And the odd fish is now, or was showing, just rolling. No crashing fish, and they're pretty subtle shows at the moment, but there's no wind on the water at the moment, so you can see the subtle rolls. There's been a couple of big rolls over the area that Michael's fishing with his spotted bait, so I quite fancy him to get another take on that. But for me, there's been nothing yet. A bit of a dilemma whether to move swims or not today. I mean, earlier yesterday afternoon and evening, I saw 2 shows over that side of the lake, but there's nobody in that swim, and it's just on the edge of an island. So a part of me thinks, should I be moving up there? The other part of me is the odd fish has rolled out in my swim this morning. So do I sit on here and hope that I get a take? We'll see. I mean, the next couple of hours are definite take time, so hopefully we can. I can get a fish, and then that makes my mind up to stay in this swim. The other issue is from 1 o'clock today, we've got quite a lot of rain coming in, so really I need to make my decision. I need to have made it by 10:30, 11. If I'm moving swims, I need to get a wriggle on, so as I'm all set up before the rain comes. But yeah, we've certainly got a pretty wet afternoon, but who knows, that may bring the fish on the feed, so wait and see. I mean, bait wise for Michael's 2 fish, they were on a stiff hinge pop-up, little krill pop-up, topped with a bit of pink krill pop-up. And yeah, as I said, that's cast towards some light weed and quite a lot of spod mix over the top of it. And yeah, that's what's done the business for him so far. So hopefully something happens for me, or if not, even for him, and some more fish would be nice. But yeah, 2 upper 20s, and you haven't been here 24 hours yet. That's good fishing, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, I'll update the vlog later on, possibly in a different swim, possibly still in this one. So yeah, see you then. Okay, very wet good morning to you. Let's wrap this vlog up. Yeah, God, yeah, that rain in the night, it was meant to rain, not like it did. It absolutely poured, so disappointingly everything's going to get packed away pretty wet today, including the chair I'm sat on, which I left out all night like a mug. Anyway, back to the fishing. So went to sleep quite positive. As you see, I had never moved swims yesterday. The only swim that actually showed fish whilst we were fishing was that one I said over there, when I think I wrapped up the day before. And yeah, actually, it didn't, no more fish jumped or rose or showed. Hence why I ended up not moving pegs. I had a look at the peg down there, the guy moved out. But he hadn't had anything else in the last 24 hours either, so the fish seemed to have moved off of there, so I stayed in this swim. Michael, during the day, he had that same spot that he'd found just off of a weed bed. He had an 18-pounder, and then he lost two. One I think he said he was cut off quite quick. And the other one was a really annoying one because I was around there when he had the run, and I was landing the fish for him. And the fish was halfway over the string of the net when the hook link snapped, of all things. And I tried to scoop the net up and keep the fish in it, but I didn't manage it, so he lost that one as well. So but yeah, 5 takes off of that one spot and 3 fish landed. And then nothing, it's died a death. Throughout the night, I've had nothing again. Just before, or just on dark actually, a couple of fish seem to be moving down this way, probably 150 yards out, so not my water, but I was going to say there's no one over the other side. I can't cast 150 yards anyway, so if I'd brought my boat with me, maybe I would have been tempted to bait boat it out. Rig out to them. But yeah, with them heading this way, I thought there was a chance of a take, but yeah, nothing's happened. Yeah, and that's it really. The lake was really busy last night, and I dare say this morning when the doors open or gates open in half an hour, there'll be people walking around looking for swims, hoping that people pack up. There's a couple on the other side, they're the only swims that are free at the moment. So for us, yeah, I mean, for me, unfortunately, unless something happens in the next 2 hours, it's a blank. Michael, a couple of nice upper 20s, they were lovely East fish, weren't they? So that was good. Lake in general, I think we'll come back again, we'll give it another go. It's, by all accounts, there are a good head of fish in here. If you go on their Facebook page, good fish get caught. The rules are, well, they're pretty lax really, the rules. The only rule personally I don't like is a barbless hook one, but it's the rule. If you want to fish it, that's the rule. So you adhere by it or you don't fish it. Simple. Swims, I mean, maybe I don't normally fish day ticket waters, so I don't know. A hell of a lot of cigarette ends and bits of rubbish in the swims. And in the car park there's a big mound of rubbish where I guess lazy people have just left their rubbish here. There are signs telling you take your rubbish home, you will be banned if you don't, etc, etc, but maybe that's the way day tickets are. So aside of that, yeah, nice fishery, sensible rules. Bailiffs come around a couple of times. They didn't check our rigs, but they do check rigs sometimes, apparently. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a rat problem here, but all lakes have got rat problems, and for me personally, they stayed down the front of the swim, so whilst I hate rats, they didn't come too close to me, so not too bad. And yeah, all in all, I'd say it's a lake worth visiting. You know, if you can find your spots. I think I was fishing in the end 80 yards, 60 yards under this bush at night, and a bit of a pub chuck really with a third rod during the day, just with a solid PVA bag to areas that obviously just made sure they were clear of weed before made sure they were clear of weed before putting them out, and yeah, just a solid bag on there, but that hasn't produced unless it does in the next 2 hours. I think Michael was fishing, he's fishing 85 yards. All his fish came from 85 yards. I think he said he was fishing 80 yards and maybe 50 his other rod. But yeah, it's you know, where else can you go £20 a day and catch 2 upper 20s and an 18 and have 5 takes as well in a 48-hour session? So definitely worth coming back, and yeah, maybe I'll do a part 2 to this vlog when we do. But for now, let's wrap this up. If anything happens in the next 2 hours whilst I'm packing up, I'll put the GoPro back on and edit the end. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on a bank sometime.